One of the biggest things that I get asked all the time is about the recruiting process. And and even on my podcast, the Loop Zone podcast, it's in season 1. Season 2 is coming soon, just getting my, bearings. But it was one of the most popular discussions ever because of the fact that people think it's D1 or bust. They think it's D1 or bust. My son, my daughter must go D1 or she has no chance of life. I'm like, whoa, where did we get off on this? Like, it's not D1 or bust. If your kid is not ready for D1, baseball or softball or hell, any sport, you don't force them down that path because they're going to find out the hard way. You're just putting them in. It's like putting somebody in the wrong clothes. If they're not ready for extra large, why are we forcing them into extra large, right?
Well, man, I tell all my guys a lot of the time, JUCO is a great way to go because, first of all, usually you're typically close to home. At least when I went, I was about an hour away. So the jump to a Division I or a big school is tough sometimes. Like, you think, okay, I'm not going to be homesick. But guess what? I was homesick. I didn't think I was going to be homesick.
That is, yeah.
That
switches up.
So you got that. School is easier out of JUCO. Did you go to JUCO?
No, I didn't go to JUCO route.
So school was way easier because I went to JUCO and then I went to Auburn University, and school was way easier because at Auburn we had an auditorium of maybe 300 kids in a class. At JUCO I might have had 30 or 20 kids.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. Parents, and by this time in the recruiting process, we're talking 8th grade, 9th grade. You spend some time with your kid to know what suits them academically, and you've seen them enough to kind of know the truth physically. If you don't know, then you ask somebody, but we'll talk about that, how to figure that out. But you should by now know class size, like, does he or she need to go to junior college, NAIA, D3, community college route, and then transfer out, Division II, whatever it may be. It's not about where you start, it's where you finish. And so many talented players will go to that big time D1 just because they're talented, just because they touched 90 one time. And they'll ride it out and say, we'll go into debt, parents, we'll go into debt. Because my son has to go to that big time D1. No. Your son's going to get thousands of splinters sitting that bench. He's going to be called pine.
It's tough.
From riding it.
It's tough.
And talk to the people about, the difference between going to that D1 and playing right away, or then taking your time. When should parents or players know that? Like, because I'm not going to say every player should go to a place where they're going to play right away, but nobody wants to sit the bench for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, but there's a fine line there. So explain, like, when you're stuck with that question of, I want him to go to a big time D1 school, but they're loaded at shortstop.
Right. First of all, that's a good goal to have, obviously. Like, if you're trying to go to a Division I school, that's a great goal to have. I just think for a lot of guys, it's a tough way to start because a lot of guys will have to redshirt. A lot of big Division I schools, unless you're an absolute stud.
And you're not hurt.
No.
You're not hurt.
You're not hurt. You just take that first year and they redshirt you. So you're taking that year off, and then, you come back that second year, and you're probably going to sit the bench a little bit, So then
spotty playing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, if you went somewhere else, if you think about the other end of the spectrum, if you went somewhere else, you could have played that first year and that second year, got a lot of playing time, developed more as a player. But again, it's not a bad thing. There's going to be guys who are great Division I baseball players who have the aspirations and can go and contribute right away. So I guess really the thing is to have self-awareness as a player and a parent of a player, like, know what am I capable of? And do I want to go to the D1 school because I want that for my son? Because I want that for my son. I want my son to be a Major League Baseball player. I don't know if he's going to be, but or do I want to give him the best route that he can have to have the most success? Because maybe a JUCO isn't as glorified,
illustrious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As going to a Division I.
Exactly.
But it may be the best route for some players.
And just because I don't want to lose people, we'll touch on this and we'll kind of wrap this up. The question is, and I'll kick it off and I'll let you go after. Well, if I'm a parent, okay, CJ, I'm with you. I'm with you and John. But how do I identify that in my player? Like, I don't know. Like, the highest level I played was high school. You know, I hear my son is talented. He's always been a 3-batter. My daughter's always carried our softball team, you know. But I want an unbiased opinion on my child. Like, how do I get that? Like, where do I start? I'll let you kick it off, and I'll go out there. Where do I start? If a parent says, how do I get that evaluation? Do I got to pay big money to go get somebody? I mean, what do I need to do to get that unbiased evaluation?
That's tough too, because you got to find someone that you trust too, because there's a lot of people out there trying to make some money.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of organizations out there where they're putting on showcases and things of this nature. And then private instructors who will tell you your son is the greatest thing ever since sliced bread because you're paying them money, you know. So you got to find someone who is knowledgeable, who can give you some real honest feedback, and that's not in it for them, you know, for your money. And that can be hard to navigate too. You know, I don't have a definite answer for that, but you're just gonna have to kind of figure it out as you go. Some of these showcases down here in Florida, there's a lot of scouts at. You know, you can get some good evaluations down here. But really, it's just doing your research and finding someone who's knowledgeable in the game that you can trust, who's not in it for your money.
Yeah.
And that's hard to find.
I think the first place you go, going back to what you said, is the trust. Finding a person you trust. Start there. If it's a high school coach that you trust, if even if it's a middle school coach, because if you trust them enough, they'll be able to navigate that process with you. Because you might not know, but like if somebody comes to me and I might not be able to do it, since they trust me, I'm gonna go out my way to make sure I do right by them. And I'm gonna go find them an evaluator that can help them in their area. You know, I'm gonna get on the horn and make some calls or emails or do something like that. So start within your network with people you trust that's around the game and say, I need to know what caliber my player is. D1, D1 AA, junior college, late transfer, somebody that needs to switch positions. We can go on this call for a while. But at the end of the day, we just wanted to get on here, you know, me and John, and just really just talk about these things. Just a little nugget of inspiration and some positivity, just to be able to get you going to where you need to go. So, hey, stay tuned. My boy John's going to cut this thing up. Your boy Beatty here. We love you.
See you soon.
Peace.